Support for this program is provided by
The Women's Hospital delivers comprehensive health care to women and infants through inpatient and outpatient obstetrical, gynecologic, and education programs. The Women's Hospital, only at Deaconess.
additional support provided by Girling Law and Toyota Indiana.
I've gotten the typical, well, who's the man? You know, like, and at this point, it's a little offensive. It is offensive, but it's also like at this point, I just have to laugh.
It's me.
It's her.
I think one of the silliest questions that I get is, who's the man in the relationship? I usually respond, neither one of us are man. We don't have a penis, so we're not men. We're both women. So I try to take it lightly, but you know, sometimes the tone of it is a lot different.
Who's the man?
Yeah, who's the man? Obviously, neither of us have a penis, so neither.
A lot of times when we go to the store or to the restaurants and stuff like that, I get called sir. People are usually really mortified when that happens to them, and they, you know, they're apologizing and they're, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I can't believe I said that. And it's like, it's okay. I'm not offended if you were the first person. Yeah, I just wanted you to know you're wrong. And then I have to comfort them for messing up. But it's, you know, that's like a daily thing for me and something that I'm very used to.
Not necessarily how you have sex, but what do you do? And
What do lesbians do?
we've been asked if we're sisters. I thought that was kind of odd. It's like, yeah, we're very close for sisters.
Scissor sisters. Why don't say that either? That's Scissor sisters? I did. That's what I said, but I was just joking. I never. That's never a reply.
I like that man.
Fantastic.
Where did you grow up?
4 blocks down the road.
Yeah?
Yep.
What was your home life like? What are your parents like?
Well, my mom was a nurse. My dad, electrician or something. I don't know. He worked on robots at a factory. Didn't do much. Like, I just stayed at home. I grew up Pentecostal, so I literally spent most of my life doing nothing. And so I was like 13, and then I quit going. My parents stopped going when I was like 10. So I went to private school. Hated it. Begged my parents to let me go to public school. Some of my friends that I grew up in church with, they stopped going and they went to public school. I even had their parents talk to my parents to try to get me to go, and they wouldn't. I really liked school, but I hated the private school. I didn't want to be Pentecostal anymore. I didn't agree with, you know, their lifestyle. And then I ended up homeschooling my last year of school. My next door neighbor, they had grandkids, and I always played with their kids. And one of them was a girl. And so we would always play house. We always had to be the parents. And then I was the youngest one. But that was actually the first girl that I ever kissed when I was 8. Like, I didn't want a boyfriend. Like, you know what I mean? Like, all the little kids are like, I want a little boyfriend, I want a little boyfriend. I had a little boyfriend in kindergarten. He was gay. Like, we would play Polly Pockets together. He would bring Polly Pockets to school, and that's what we played with. And I mean, like, you know? And then there was another little boy that lived around the corner that I was friends with, and he was gay. And we played Spice Girls. You know, I'd ride my bike to his grandparents. We played Spice Girls. Always ended up with the gay boys, you know? Like, I mean, they didn't come out and say, like, they were gay, but looking back, I'm like, they're totally, and they're gay now, you know? They're openly gay now. It's like I always want to do the stuff that boys want to do. I didn't necessarily want it to be a boy, but I don't know. I guess I kind of just did those things because I'm like, well, I like these girls, so they're going to like me if I do the things that the boys do. Mm-hmm. And I mean, for a long time till I was in probably 22, I was really tomboyish. Like, I love sports, and I'm still like tomboyish. Like, I can get down and dirty, like full contact sports, but I like to be pretty. And like growing up, I was always like really boyish. Like, I always bought like boy shoes and I always hung out with the boys, and I wanted to do boy things. It was like, I felt like I had to be that way. Like, I didn't feel comfortable like as a girl, you know. And then once I got like 23, I was like, okay, it's okay for me to be like girly and, you know, like girls, because the whole stereotypical thing of especially lesbians is they're all boyish. We're not all boyish, you know. And now I'm literally the happiest that I've ever been, like with myself as a person and like in my life in general, because like I am who I am. You know what I mean? I don't feel like I have to be something.
I went out with a group of people, and there was a girl, and I liked her. I was like, oh, I like her. She's pretty, you know, and like the connection was different than what I'd ever felt pretty much with anyone ever. And long story short, you know, she came on to me, and which I knew she was gay. I knew she was a lesbian. And that was my first relationship. There was just a comfort level that I felt with her. It was just an attraction, that how you're attracted to your husband. You know, you're like, damn, he's fine.
Right.
You know, I can look at a guy and say, oh, he's nice looking, or he's even hot. You know, and have a connection with a guy that, you know, we're friends and we're close and we're tight, but
Right.
that attraction, that sexual attraction, it's just never been there.
So the first time that you were intimate with a woman, was it like, this is what it's supposed to be like?
I threw up afterwards. I did. Because I had been raised in a home that it was nothing but sinful, and that I was going straight to hell. And it just tore my soul apart. That I had went against my mom, my dad, my family, my church, my God. And it made me sick. Not necessarily maybe the act of it, but that I had done it. You know, and then I was okay with it because I felt like I just did the most grossest thing in the world, and I felt good. I liked it. And does that make sense? You know, so it wasn't really the fact that the act made me sick. It's what I had felt and believed in my heart for so many years. And then that's where the confusion in my life just totally came in. I went through major depressions, major confusions, because you imagine, because I respect my parents. I mean, and my father, I respect him to the utmost. I knew that he wouldn't be happy with it, and I knew that that's how he felt. So all these years, he had been taught that it was wrong. You know, it was the worst sin ever in the world, not necessarily by him, but just by the church that I attended. So I was just torn, because I still love God. I still love God, and I still wanted to do right, and I still cared about people, and I still wanted to show kindness and love people and treat others with kindness. And yet I was gay, so how could I do that? Because I was a sinner and I was going to hell. And
How old were you?
19.
One of our very dear friends, we were at a party once, first time that I had ever met this person, and she was drinking very heavily, and she wasn't handling it well, and she needed to go to the bathroom. I don't drink at all. I was the only person sober enough to carry her to the bathroom, so I was like, okay, come on, let's go. As I was getting her into the bathroom, she goes, please don't take advantage of me. And I was like, oh, honey. Said, you don't have to worry about that. And like, got her into the bathroom, waited outside while she did what she needed to do, and then got her back out, took her back to the party, and that's how our friendship started. And when she recounted that story to me, she was nothing but terrified that I would hate her forever for even saying that. But that's, you know, like interactions like that. Because you're gay, I must be your type because I am female, or you must be a predator because you like the same gender. And it's
You're
like
attracted to all females.
yeah, all women are on my radar.
Are on my radar.
Yeah.
They're constantly scanning to see, you know.
The velociraptor in the room ready to like claw into them, and but like it's, you know, it's not like that.
I started working at Toyota, and she worked at Toyota. She was a team leader, and I was in conveyance, so I delivered parts to her line. I went up to see her to ask her if she would take me home because me and my ex-girlfriend were fighting. This little BL thing over there in a hard hat bigger than she is. She looks at me and she was like, well, Shug, you're better than that. You know, and just sitting over there like, cool as can be, like just said that because I'm over there like, see her keeping me home, like I'm so mad, you know. And I mean, I got butterflies when she called me that, and I tell her all the time, I'm like, I love it when you call me Shug. Like, because she's old. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's ever done that. You know what I mean? Like, here I am, 24, got this 37-year-old like calling me Suge. I'm like, hey, mama, you know? And I was like, I like her. She's funny. And like, I would drive by and she would just be like behind the parks, like looking at me, like, here's the rail. And she would just be like watching me. And she actually got my number from Sierra's phone. We went to breakfast one morning. I think it might have been that morning that she had taken me home. And somebody kept texting me, like, before we even got to Denny's. And somebody kept texting me. And I'm like, who is this? You know, I was like getting so mad because I'm like, who the hell is this, you know? So we're at dinner or breakfast. We got all these people sitting around. I'm sitting beside Sierra. And then all of a sudden my phone goes off and she has her phone. And I just looked at it and looked up and we made eye contact and she smirked. And I'm like, how'd you get my phone number? You know? And I'm like, Sierra? And Sierra was like, I didn't do it, you know? And we started talking like every day. We just started talking. And she was so funny. Like, she made me laugh. She's funny.
So what do you love about her?
Oh, so much. So much. I love that. I love that she has a spirit that just kind of shines. I mean, she can have bad things going on in her life, and she don't really show it a lot of times. You know, I see her go on and go on and go on daily, when I know, when probably a lot of people don't know, that it's really bothered her in her heart. And, you know, we may not talk about it, but I know there's certain things that really affect her heart and hurt her heart. And she just keeps going.
So what do you love about Kim?
Don't say that I'm a grouch.
I love her morning hair.
Is that the best we got?
That's the best. No. I like that she's so sweet. She's so nice. She has a good heart. She's helped mellow me out a lot. Like, she's helped balance me.
She needed a little balancing.
A lot of balance.
So we kind of even each other out. We still have a long, long road to go. Obviously, like every relationship, we have things that we need to deal with. But that's part of life. If we didn't have anything to deal with, what would it be? You know? It'd be perfect, and it's not perfect. Don't say it's perfect, because it's not.
I'm not saying it is.
But it's good. I mean, I love her. I don't know what I'd do without her.
Did you ever wish you were straight?
Yes. It's an easier life. I think it is. I mean, you're protected civilly. You have more legal rights. You aren't chastised whenever you're going into public places. People can't refuse you service just because of your orientation if you're straight. People don't ask you awkward questions like, how does that work? You don't have to come out with your sexual orientation if you're straight. You're not in a stereotype if you're straight.
I wish there wasn't like an assumption that you're straight.
Yeah.
Like, I don't wish I was straight, but what I mean by that is, for instance, like I recently went to the bank, filled out a form. Are you married? Yes, I'm married. And the person asked me, so what does your husband do? Just because I was married. Like there was an assumption that I was married and it was to a man. And I just feel like I have to explain myself all the time. Actually, I'm married to a woman and she is whatever. And it's just like too much information.
We don't offer it if people don't ask, because you're often treated differently if they don't agree with it. But I don't know how you agree with somebody's lifestyle. It's like, how does my marriage really affect you?
Yeah.
Did they attend the wedding?
My dad did not, but my mom did. She was there. She lit a candle, or poured sand. She poured sand. My dad did not come.
How did that make you feel?
I respect my dad. So I was sad and brokenhearted that he couldn't be there. But I completely respect his feelings. And he had of course I wanted him to walk me down the aisle because he's my dad, you know. And he had told me he was going to, and then he came over and he was broken, just broken, cried his eyes out, you know, and explained it to me. And I told her, I said, the thing is, I didn't expect him to say yeah, but I caught him off guard when I told him, because and he just said yeah, and it was just because we're always surrounded by people when I talk to him. And so I kind of expected him to come back, you know, and he said he just didn't feel clear with God with it. And I respect that, because I told her one thing he's always been in my life. He's always been consistent in his beliefs. So even though it would have made me so happy for him to be there, it would have broken that consistency. He still loves me to death. He loves her to death. You know, he still hugs us and told me, you know, he helped with a couple things, and he told me the day of the wedding, he texted me, he said, you know, hope you have a beautiful day. And I know he loves me. It's not about him not loving me, you know, and I'm sure that was said and made, I'm sure there was comments made about it, but the thing is I understand my family. I understand the beliefs that they have. I understand the love that they have for God and why they feel the way they do. And I respect that. But like I said, I have to live my life. And I love her, and I'll answer to my God when the day comes, and nothing for what I do. And they'll answer for what they do. So that's it.
I've never taught Sage that there's a difference. Like, I've never taught Sage that there's a difference in color. I've never taught Sage that there's a difference. I don't need to cause a difference. You know what I mean? Like, to Sage, me and my relationship is no different than yours. She's never questioned. She's never, Mommy, why are you hugging a woman? Mommy, why are you with a girl? Like, I have a daddy. Like, you know what I mean? She's never questioned. Like, to her, it's normal. Because I don't need her to think that there's something wrong. I don't need to cause a division. Or I don't need to explain to her, well, people are supposed to be with, you know, men and women are supposed to be together, not women and women and men and men. Like, I don't need, because then she's going to be like, well, why? You know? So I've never taught her anything. And, you know, like The Love Connection, there's this show on TV and Sage loves it. I don't know why, but we're driving down the road like 2 days ago. She's got her little water bottle and she's like, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Love Connection. I'm like trying to drive and she's like interviewing me on TV, you know. And she was like, okay, Mom, Chastity Duncan, right? Is it Duncan? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, okay, you're going to be on The Love Connection. And she was like, and I don't know, he has like an intro and he's like, something lady here looking for love with a man or something, whatever. And she goes, and she said it, she said, wait, Mom. She was like, do you want a man or a woman? And I'm like, a woman. She's like, okay, that's what I thought. Like, it was nothing. You know what I mean? Like, she asked because, like, on the show, he's like, you know, and she just asked, and she was like, okay, that's what I thought. And she goes back to, okay. And, you know, like, it's nothing to her. And that, I mean, that's how it should be. I don't need to cause a division. If she ever asked about it when she's older or something, I mean, yeah, you know, we'll talk, I'll explain it to her. But I'm not going to make it like there's something wrong, like it's not normal.
Even since she was little, you know, I've had a girlfriend.
Okay.
So she's always been, it's not a thing to her, you know, and her friends that she was raised with, they knew. And there was a point in time, and I can't give you a specific age, I forget what age it was, I want to say when she was around 12 or 13, that I talked to her and asked her, does this bother you? You know, because I can put my life on silent, and that's what I had planned to do. Because she is priority, and her feelings and her success is priority even now to this day. And but she's like, no, she didn't care, and she's proud of me. You know, she said she's gonna be proud of me as long as I never get a front butt. So I gotta keep my weight down.
I think that goes to show that.
And that's what she said. She don't want me to have a front butt.
And even like with Jordan and even like with Sage, I think that goes to show that the kids that are that way, they're taught that way. You know, they're taught, these people aren't normal. This is not okay. These people, you need to let them know that that's not right. They're taught that because kids, if everybody had the heart of a kid, the world would be amazing.
She just made me feel like nobody ever made me feel like before. Like I was like always happy. Like it was like so fun. Like, and we still have fun. Like the stuff we do, I just don't, something's wrong with us, you know? I knew that I loved her probably 2 months in, you know? I knew I could feel something, you know? And I mean, even to this day, like every day, like I fall more in love with her. So like, that's how I know that like it's right. Like, you know what I mean? So many people tell me it's wrong. And I'm like, if you could only feel this much of how I feel, you would know that it's not wrong. Like, you're lacking it in your life, obviously. Like, you need to get a little taste of it, and you'd be like, that's how it's supposed to be. Like, for somebody to make you feel that way and so happy and to feel so loved and to love someone so much, it can't be wrong. It can't.
I just knew. I was like, well, if we're going to make this happen, it's real. I knew I loved her. And it was a love that was different. You know, our relationship is different than any that I've ever had. I've stayed completely loyal to her, so that's good for me. I've not been a stinker with her, but there's just something about her that I don't want to break that trust with her. I don't want to lose that with her. I knew it almost day one. You know, I didn't want to waver for some reason. There was just, I still can't tell you what it is. I don't know what it is, but I just didn't want to. I just knew. Like, I better grab onto her before somebody else does. Walking out, she just looked like a model. I mean, she looked breathtaking. And I still can't believe it, to be honest with you. I look at her all the time and think, how in the world do I have her?
Well, like, the music starts to come on, so we stand up at the door, and like immediately I started crying. I was like, I can't do this. Like, I'm like, just thinking about her makes me want to cry. So they opened up the door. I, for the longest time, stared at the floor. Like, I was squeezing his arm, and he was like, look up, and I was like, I can't. Like, I'm crying. Like, I can't. Like, I remember just like when I looked at her, there was like literally nobody in the room. Like, I couldn't, like, the people that were I couldn't even tell you who was sitting like in front, because like my eyes were locked on her. She was so pretty.
Support for this program is provided by
The Women's Hospital delivers comprehensive health care to women and infants through inpatient and outpatient obstetrical, gynecologic, and education programs. The Women's Hospital, only at Deaconess.